The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. Philadelphia using their first timeout. They come to a second down. The ball resting just across the 23-yard line. 2nd and 10. Jaworski was 16 touchdown passes. The most he's ever thrown in his career in a season was 18, and he'd like to at least get to that mark before the afternoon is over. Ranked number 3 in the NFC as far as quarterbacks are concerned. He sets up a screen to Harris. Harris got a block, and he's out across the 25 to the 26. Joe Norman is over there again. A pickup of 3 yards on the play, and Norman's been all over the place.
He has been. The whole defense has been very impressive. The whole Seahawk defense, they're really swarming. There's not just one player out there to make a play or 2 plays. They seem to get 5 and 6 and 7. Watch here. Norman's a first. Boom, boom, boom. And that's what you have to get to play defense against anyone in the National Football League. You have to get a bunch of people where the ball is.
Oakland leading Miami 9-3.
Field goal contest.
3rd down, 8 yards to go. Harris has come back in defensively after being shaken up earlier for Seattle. Jaworski on his 3rd down. Camfield, that'll be a first down. He's out to the 39-yard line. Vic Miner defending on the play as Billy Camfield, a man who's had a lot of injuries, nagging injuries, with a 13-yard catch on that play.
This formation is the first time that the Eagles went to 3 wide receivers, plus they had Camfield up on the line. Now they sent the 3 wide receivers deep. Camfield was on the line as a wingback. He came across underneath the coverage. As we watch Jacob Green here, the rookie, this is going to be an interesting matchup with Jerry Sizemore, because Jerry Sizemore is a 9-year veteran. Jacob Green, a rookie #1 draft choice.
First down now at the 39 for Philadelphia. 10:46 remaining in the second quarter. Jaworski on the play action. Krefli, what a catch. Krefli to the 38, and he caught that on his fingertips, and it was really thrown over there. John Harris made the stop. First down, Philadelphia. That was good for 23 yards.
This is a great example of what we call play pass, where you fake the run, hold the linebackers, then Krefli was able to come off the line right up in that seam. It was a nice pattern by Krefli and a good throw by Jaworski, because that's a time, and if you don't get that there quick enough, you can see there's 4 defenders coming, and it had to be thrown right between them.
Krefli now with 14 catches this year. He was out earlier this year with a shoulder separation. Here is Camfield on the pitch, and he's going to get very little on that one. Excellent reaction again by the blue shirts from Seattle. Robert Hardy was over there, Jacob Green, Keith Butler. Seattle is really playing the wide stuff very effectively. To go back to Krefli, boy, those big tight ends that have finger control, the hand control he had on that last pass.
And they have to be big, because you have to be able, 1, to find them in the middle, and then 2, get the ball to them in the middle. Really, the middle of the field in the passing game is where the tight end works.
Second down, still 10, almost 11 yards to go. Bill Cook has now come in that defensive line. 3 wide receivers for Philadelphia. Jaworski still looking, and he's trying to hit Camfield, and John Harris with the interception. He was waiting for Camfield to make his move. He never did go where he thought he would, and John Harris with his 2nd interception of the year. And Jaworski really upset at himself.
We'll see it again here. Jaworski was looking to the short man first. You see it to his right there. Then he tried to throw deep after the short man. Usually you do it the opposite. You look deep, come off short. On this play, he looked short, then tried to go deep, and of course the interception.
Motorcraft for sure. Motorcraft for sure.
How do you make the great lineup of Motorcraft parts even better? You've already got batteries with sure power, hot-firing spark plugs, and a full line of filters. So how do you make it better? Just add oil. Introducing Motorcraft Oil, formulated to stabilize oxidation and reduce wear. Rated SF, it meets the most advanced engineering standards set for the 80s. You can be sure of it.
Motorcraft for sure.
Hi, I'm Fran Tarkenton with a great new game. It's Kenner's fantastic new live-action football that sure beats those old blips and dots games. Play the computer or a friend. You see and control all the action. You see the tackles, you make them. There are interceptions, conversions, safeties. Live-action football makes me feel I'm back in the game. Who says I can't win the big one, huh, guys? Electronic live-action football, new from Kenner.
Live, undefeated champion Hilmer Kenny blasts away with Villamar Fernandez for the WBA Lightweight Championship next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Ron Jaworski throwing the interception, his 8th of the year. After last year, Dick Vermeil took every interception and near interception, took all that film and sat down with Ron Jaworski and went over it. And I would imagine that last one will be vividly recalled by Coach Vermeil.
Right, and I'm sure that he won't wait until the off season. I'm sure that's something that they'll probably do Monday, because as I said, usually you do the opposite. You look deep and then come back short. He looked short and went deep.
Harris with the interception, setting it up with the 19 as you look at Jim Zorn. He has Sawyer, his tight end, in motion. Gives to Lawrence McCutcheon. And McCutcheon, who was such an outstanding running back for Los Angeles on 4 different occasions. He rushed for over 1,000 yards in the season. Claude Humphrey making the stop on McCutcheon. He started the year with Denver, only carried the ball 12 times, then was cut loose. A lot of speculation about the fact that he was picked up because they played Denver twice. They might get some inside advantages.
Well, that's a possibility, but you usually know more about a team in your division than any player that you can get from the other team, in all due respect.
2nd down, 7. 6-0 Seattle with a lead. There's a little fake draw by Zorn. Zorn has Sawyer wide open, the big tight end across the 45 to the 50. John Sawyer, who this year has 14 catches.
With it, or he can throw the ball to Sawyer as he did on that play. See, he established early that he would run it. Then the Eagle defense tightens up, fakes it, and throws. 1st down
at the 50-yard line. Zorn, far side. That's McCollum. And McCollum picks up 5 to the 45-yard line. Zorn really put this one on a rope.
You know, he does, and as we see here, once that he gets you where you're not sure what he's going to do, where he runs and he throws and he sprints, then he takes you apart like a surgeon.
That was Herman Edwards trying to defend on the play. McCollum is having his best year. He came in here with 33 catches. He had 46 all of last year. 7th-year man from Montana State. 2nd down and 5 for the 45. Looks like Charlie Johnson may have fired offside. A flag complete to Largent. Largent to the 30 to the 26-yard line. Well, they'll refuse that penalty if in fact it is against Philadelphia. Randy Logan over to make the stop. Let's look at it again.
We'll see it here. It's just a quick out, a 5-yard pattern out to the outside. He did the same thing to the left to McCollum. Said that one worked pretty well. Try it to the right, does it to Largent. That one worked pretty well. Maybe he'll go back again to McCollum.
Boy, that puts a defense on their ear, doesn't it? That was an 18-yard pickup. In fact, it was a penalty against Philadelphia as we anticipated, but as you might suspect, they refused it. Now Oakland leads Miami 16-3. Oakland with 3 straight wins. Jim Plunkett has to be one of the big stories of this season.
I'll tell you, he has his confidence now, and he sure has been impressive.
1st down from the 26.5-yard line of Philadelphia. Seattle on the move. Largent in motion at the bottom of the screen. Zorn gives off to Dornick. And Dornick, who played his collegiate football at Washington State, moves it inside the 25 to the 24. That'll be a pickup of 4 yards.
You see Dan Dornick walking back there. He thought that he should have broken that one and gotten a little more off that. That's the same option that we saw where Zorn threw to Sawyer. That time, instead of faking to Dornick and keeping him throwing, he handed the ball to Dornick.
You're looking at Howard Mudd. He's the man that the plays come through. Jerry Rome is in the press box. They come to Mudd, who's the offensive line coach, and then they shuttle the plays in. 2nd down and 8. A pickup of 2. Rabel and McCollum in at wide receiver. Lawrence McCutcheon inside the 20 to the 19. And that'll bring up a 3rd down, still along 2 yards to go. Bill Berge, who's the leading tackler for this football team, made the stop for Philadelphia.
There's an impressive player, Bill Berge. I was talking to him in the locker room before the game, and you know, he's the prototype of what a National Football League linebacker should be. He looks intense when he's on the table getting taped.
I saw him down there. They were giving him a rub down. He was chewing his tobacco down there. He looked like he might be ready to play.
That's a real player. You lay there, you chew tobacco, you have a beard, you spit on the floor. That's what linebacking's all about.
That's right. Just get real dirty before you go out there, right? 3rd down and 3. And carrying the the ball is Larry Brinson. That ball is loose. Larry Brinson, who hadn't even carried the ball this year for Seattle. Lawrence McCutcheon coming up with a fumble recovery, and they lose yardage back out to the 22-yard line. Loss of 3.
This is one thing as we see the play again here. It's a sweep. It's the old student body right. They had McCutcheon leading, both guards pulling. Brinson right here now, he has a tough thing because if he fights for the yardage, he can always, have the chance to fumble as he did there. If he doesn't fight, he's not going to get the first down. See right here, he needs 2 more yards. So he lowers his shoulder. There's 4 tackles there. He's fighting, and of course he lost the ball.
This will be a 41-yard attempt by Herrera, who is 2 for 2 today. Scoring to hold. Herrera's 41-yarder has enough distance, but it's no good. Wide to the left. So Herrera missing his first attempt after hitting one from 21 yards and 32 yards. And so Philadelphia still trails 6-0 in this game, but I would imagine Dick Vermeil kind of breathed a sigh of relief after that one.
That's the amazing thing about this game thus far. Everything that Seattle has done, the time of possession, the score is still only 6-0, and that's one reason that the Philadelphia Eagles should feel real good.
Well, they're not their #1 ranked defense, I guess, for nothing, as they have hung in there, even though they've had to play an awful lot in this first half.
Did you see Stan Walters? He was telling Jaworski, get in here. The clock's running. There's no timeout.
Jaworski is 4 for 8 thus far, 67 yards, and of course that one interception that he suffered the last time. On the 23-yard line, Jaworski to Giamona, and Giamona, who had 79 yards last week in that win against Chicago, picks up 4 yards. Giamona, I think it was said very well about him. Keith Krefley said he has such a big heart, he doesn't even have a chest big enough to hold it.
Right. When you're 5'9" and you weigh 175 pounds and you're running straight ahead at these NFL defenses, you have to have something.
And actually, they list him at 5'9", but I don't even think he's that tall.
No, he's not. That's giving him an inch or 2.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. 6-0. Seattle. Here's Giamona again. And Little Louie, as they call him, picked up a yard, and that's all. 3rd down now. 5 yards to go. Michael Jackson making the stop on Giamona, who, of course, is the nephew of Dick Vermeil. Dick Vermeil said when he fumbled, he disavowed any knowledge of any relationship with him. Then when he played later, he was his nephew.
That's the way we coaches are. If everything's going well, we love them. Hey, great, everyone's nice. And if they don't, you want to disown them.
Here we go on a 3rd down. The Eagles 1 of 3 thus far. 3rd down 5. Rodney Parker has checked in. They have 3 wide receivers. Smith and Carmichael the other. 5 defensive backs in for the Seahawks. Jaworski up to Giamona. Giamona to the 30. He lowers his head for the first down. Giamona to the 35-yard line. John Harris made the tackle, but Giamona, had he not lowered his head, might not have gotten that first down. 7-yard pickup.
I'll tell you who made this play, though, is left guard Petey Perreault here. As we see him come out here, see it's a running screen type of thing. Giamona has the ball right here. But watch, just right there, the block there that picked off the linebacker so that Giamona could get down there to lower his head to pick up the first down.
It is a first down at the 35. Philadelphia having to work hard for anything. If you look at the stats on Ron Jaworski. Jaworski wanting to throw. Look out. That is caught. Charles Smith down to the 40, 35, 30. Boy, that was close to going the other way. Charles Smith caught that pass, but it looked like for a moment Kerry Justin, the defensive back, might have an interception.
That's the one thing that is tough, and you really want those defensive backs not to go for that type of thing, because unless you really have it. He went for it. Charlie Smith got it. Now there's no one else there. Had he let him catch it, tackle, it's a 5-yard gain. By being aggressive, what you like to see, he goes for it. Boom, Charlie Smith catches it. Now once he gets by there's no one there for 35 yards.
Make it 38-yard pickup by Smith on the play. First down now at the 27th of Seattle. Camfield, Billy Camfield to the 25. Gain of 2. Robert Hardy making the stop. That last play, Mike Hogan came in for the first time, and that's a familiar name as far as Philadelphia fans are concerned. He was picked up, there he is, number 30, when he was cut by the New York Giants. And Dick Vermeil said before it's all over, he could be a starting fullback. He really likes this guy. Ran out of any place to play in New York, which is somewhat of a mystery. And now the 2-minute warning is here. So it's going to be a 2nd down 8 for Philadelphia from the 25 of Seattle. The Eagles trailing 6-0 as we come back to finish this first half.
You don't have to be a genius to change your own oil and filter and save yourself up to $10. Valvoline Motor Oil shows you exactly how quick and easy it is with step-by-step change instructions on the back of Valvoline cans. It's really quite simple. Once you get the hang of it, just see for yourself, then do for yourself. No wonder more and more drivers are changing their own oil and filters and changing to Valvoline. It's a smart way to save up to 10 bananas without a lot of monkeying around. Right, Val?
I'm Mike Colbraker, State Farm Agent, Carlisle, Illinois, speaking for thousands of State Farm agents across the country. One of the many reasons people keep coming to State Farm Insurance is because we service what we sell, and we do it on a personal, one-to-one basis. Service is what State Farm is all about, and service is what State Farm agents are all about.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Monday on Flo, Crooked Farley's running for office, and Flo's about to run him out of the Yellow Rose.
Farley's never met a man whose money he didn't like.
Monday on the new season of Flo.
Seattle with a 6-0 lead as we've reached the 2-minute warning. The timeouts remaining. Eagles with 2. The time of possession right now, Seattle's had the ball 1 second short of 20 minutes in this first half. Philadelphia, 8 minutes, 1 second.
But still, the most important statistic is the score on the board, and the Seahawks only have 6 points.
2nd down and 8 from the 25. That's Krefley now, the tight end, jumping up. Jaworski back. And he has Krefley wide open. He dropped it. Krefley had it and couldn't hang on. Boy, you won't see him do that very often.
No, you won't, and you wonder what Ron Jaworski's thinking. He's thinking, what type of pass do you have to throw? They had 2 tight ends, Krefley and Spagnola, lined up on the same side. Spagnola run a short pattern. Krefley run the deep pattern. Look at that pass, right in the numbers. He hit him right between the 8 and the 4.
Ooh. Boy, what is going through the mind of Krefley right now, huh?
What's going through the mind of Dick Vermeil and Ron Jaworski and Sid Gilman up here in the press box? The same thing. What do you have to do?
3rd down and 8 from the 25. That's again, Krefley jumps in. That's the same set they had on that last play. Jaworski back again. Protection is there. He hits Krefley. Came right back to him. The big tight end hammers his way to the 15, and that'll be a 1st down. I like that. You come right back to the guy who dropped the pass just a moment ago.
And that's the way to do it. You know, you don't lose confidence in a player because he drops one pass. There's many more where that came from, and I'm sure that's what Ron Jaworski said. He said, look, forget it. Don't worry about it. There's a lot more where that came from. All he did that time is he sent Spagnola deep and Krefley short.
1st down now at the 15. 1:21 remaining in this first half. Smith, Carmichael. Carmichael still looking for his first catch of this game to keep his string going. Here's Giamona, the blockers ahead of him, and Giamona hit very hard. Hardy and Justin over there, and the ball, was it fumbled over there? It was not a live football anyway. It looked like it got away from him for a moment. Timeout is called by Philadelphia. They have 1 remaining. They actually picked up maybe a half yard on a play, a yard at best.
Philadelphia's been trying to run to the right side, and they really haven't been getting that thing blocked over on that side. They haven't been successful, and one of the big reasons is Jacob Green. He's been making a lot of plays over there. They say that on the left side, Jacob Green, Michael Jackson, the left linebacker, and the strong safety, Keith Simpson, they say that's the future of this Seahawk defense.
You saw Joe Pisarcik, who did just an excellent job last week. Let's look ahead to week number 10. Dallas is really struggling with St. Louis. They have taken the lead in the game. We'll meet New York. Washington, Chicago, that'll be a good one. Atlanta against the Cardinals. Detroit and Minnesota. San Francisco, Green Bay, and Philadelphia plays under the dome again next week in New Orleans.
2 games indoors.
And I'll be in Minnesota for that Detroit-Minnesota game, and you're going to be in Palm Springs? How do you get that kind of assignment? Loafing down there. You can't be working down there.
No.
What do they have to do, rest you up for the rest of the year?
I won't admit what I'm doing down there. I won't say.
All right. Second down, 9. Philadelphia with 12 yards rushing, 121 passing. They trail 6-0. Giamona, he throws a ball. It's Krefli, and Krefli is out of bounds at about the 1-yard line. Giamona last week threw a halfback option complete. He did it again, this time to Krefli.
You know, that first one that we saw may have been the same type of thing, the one that he threw back to Jaworski. He may have been looking for someone downfield, couldn't find anyone, and decided to throw it back to the quarterback and see if he could find anything. On that one, he did find someone, his tight end, Keith Krefli.
There at the 1-yard line. Did you see Krefli try to kick his legs over there at the end to get it past that pylon in the corner, the Compton corner? And now it's 1st and goal at the 1. Philadelphia trying to tie this game up. That's Carmichael now jumping over into the slot position. Billy Campfield, and Campfield is in for the touchdown. Billy Campfield takes it in, and it's all tied up 6-all. Campfield scoring his first touchdown rushing this year.
Well, see, they did run it to the right side that time, and of course they stopped penetration. There wasn't a lot of penetration where Campfield was able to get the push, get the ball across the goal line. I think Philadelphia finally here at the end of the second quarter is finally getting their offense started the way you expect the Philadelphia offense to be.
And Krefli, after dropping that one, came back to make 2 big catches. He's redeemed himself, and Philadelphia still came away with a touchdown. Just took a little longer. Shira to hold. Tony Franklin, the point after, and as he hit that ball like a line shot. And now the Eagles have taken the lead 7-6 with 58 seconds remaining in this first half of play. So after all that work by Seattle and having all that time in possession, they still are down by 1 point.
That's why we always say the most important thing is they score on the board. And as we see here, the off-guard Petey Payroll pulls, gets a little push right there so Campfield can get the ball to the end zone.
Campfield was to play more last week, but Giamona was playing so well they just kept Louis in there. And now that Campfield is healthy, Dick Vermeil plans to use him a lot more. He says that Billy's one of those guys that has to be healthy as it bothers him to play with those nagging injuries.
Right, it does, and they still miss Wilbert Montgomery. This is a different team without Wilbert Montgomery, and Ron Jaworski says that they had to establish the running game today. They had to win the battle in the trenches. They've only had 12 or 13 yards so far in the first half rushing, so they're not doing that.
Here's Franklin kicking off. 58 seconds left in this first half. Will Lewis from the 12. And Lewis just couldn't get turned up the field as a wave was formed that time by Philadelphia. They're going to move the ball to the 18-yard line. 7-yard return. Harry Harrington, the man down to make the tackle. Their second-round draft pick out of Jackson State. And here is the final. Dallas beating St. Louis 27-24. You know, last year Dallas beat St. Louis by 1 point in St. Louis in that opening game. So the Cardinals have really had some tough struggles against Dallas. We have a man shaking up. That's the man who made the tackle, Harrington. Harrington this week was moved to a halfback spot as Dick Vermeil wanted to get him some more playing time. He's been playing fullback most of the year.
Well, he had thought of moving Harrington to halfback earlier, but he felt the fact that he was a rookie, he would like him to learn one position, to really get comfortable in the one position at the fullback. Now he feels that he has, and now he's able to move him to the other position as a halfback where he can do both.
John, let me go back to that Dallas-St. Louis game. Dallas won that game with 45 seconds left to go on a Danny White to Tony Hill 28-yard touchdown pass.
Danny White has sure made that adjustment from Roger Staubach to Danny White, and he's been very impressive this year.
So Harrington will be walking off on his own. That's good. As the 18-yard line. Seattle will have it. Let's look and see if we can figure out how he got hurt.
Well, he takes on that blocker right there. He knocks the blocker, himself, everyone into the ball carrier. And where he got hurt was by his own 2 men as they came to help finish off the tackle. They also helped finish off Perry Harrington a little.
Well, he did a good job on that play, didn't he?
That's what it's all about. You have to take on the block and then make the tackle. You know, a lot of players, they think they get down there and they take on a block or the wedge, and that's sufficient. That's the first part of it. The second part, take on the block, drive him back, make the tackle.
Philadelphia was really beat up last week against Chicago. They don't want to sustain too many more injuries. I'll say one thing for Dick Vermeil's team, though. He believes that anybody on this team is capable of starting and winning. And he's been put to the test in the last couple of weeks. Largent and McCullum, the wide receivers. McCullum in motion. And Zorn, with only 58 seconds left, is still going after it. Steve Rabel. Rabel has a first down catch across the 35. And they have no huddle. They're ready to go again. Or this Seattle team could move it.
This is where those timeouts that they took earlier will hurt them. They should have 3 left. They only have 1.
There's the time remaining. 34 seconds. Zorn back. Gets it off to Dornick. Dornick's going to try to get up the field and out of bounds. Jerry Robinson over there. Picked up virtually nothing on the play. It'll bring up a second down and stops the clock with 27 seconds remaining. You know, a lot of teams, John, with 58 seconds left and on their own 18-yard line might just close it out and head into the dressing room, but not this Seattle team.
And not Seattle, but again, as I mentioned earlier, when they took those 2 timeouts, that really did hurt in this situation because you like to save your timeouts for the end of the half and the end of the game so that you can use them in bunches. So you don't have to throw everything to the sideline as they do now.
3 wide receivers in. One of them this time is Jesse Green. Zorn on a second down and 10. This is Green, the man who checked in. That'll be a first down at the 50-yard line. And you see the time now, 17-16, and Seattle's going to use their last timeout.
That was a bad decision by Jesse Green there. He ran an out pattern, and the reason that you run the out pattern in that situation is so when you catch the ball, you can step out of bounds. He caught it towards the sideline, as we'll see again, and instead of turning to the outside to get out of bounds, he turned back inside to try and gain yardage. Now, as we see here, right here, he should have caught the ball and worked towards the sideline to get out of bounds. He caught it, he worked inside, which made the Seattle Seahawks use their last timeout.
There's Jack Patera. I think he's very serious about just what he said to Jim Zorn, also Howard Mudd. Mudd, along with Jim Zorn and Steve Largent, climbed Mount Rainier this summer, some 14,000 feet. Zorn and Largent got up there. They both wondered what they were doing up there afterwards. They were so tired, but they said the real story was Howard Mudd. He had a bad knee that he hurt when playing in the National Football League, and they say he walked all the way up with a knee brace.
Right, and he had a 40-pound pack on his back also, and I think they all got up there and said, what are we doing here?
The thing that Zorn said about Largent, he said Steve's always smiling. He said he wasn't smiling when he got to the top of that.
Just a dull, blank look.
All right, here's the situation. No timeouts remaining. Dick Vermeil's team with a 1-point lead. First down at the 49, the Seattle end of the field.
They'll try and force everything to the inside so that they don't let them get out of bounds on a completion.
3 wide receivers are in, and Zorn is back. And Zorn is going to Largent. And Largent was out of bounds. Did you see how Steve decoyed the defensive back that time? He didn't even let that defensive back know that the ball had been thrown his way.
We're going to watch this again. Of course, it doesn't count, but it's still a great catch. Watch this. He gets up. Again, it's a timing thing over his head and over his outside shoulder. That is the perfect pass had it been inbounds, because if you throw it over the head, make them run for it, but over the outside shoulder, there's no way that that ball can be deflected or intercepted.
Last year, Largent had 1,237 yards in receiving. That led the National Football League. He had 66 catches, been in the Pro Bowl for the last 2 years.
Had they had some timeouts here, they wouldn't have to throw those sideline passes up.
You saw the time remaining in the upper right-hand portion. Zorn scrambling around and trying to hit McCullum at the 30. That'll stop the clock with 4 seconds left. I tell you, even with 4 seconds, though, you just kind of if you're Philadelphia, pace back and forth, waiting on the sideline, hoping they don't come up with some unusual, some unbelievable play, because anybody could do it. It's this guy.
It is, and with 4 seconds, he's wondering, now what do I do? I have to get the ball up the field for a field goal, but if I take that long to get it up the field, then there won't be any time left to kick it. If I throw it short, we can't kick the field goal anyway, so what do? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you're a coach. You're supposed to know what to do.
I'd say run out the clock.
He might try the Big Ben play, but they're not set up for it with 4 seconds. Last play of this first half. Zorn to McCullum, broken up beautifully that time. Coming over to make that play was Richard Blackmore, the 5th defensive back that was put in that particular passing situation. So that's the end of the first half. The score, Philadelphia 7, Seattle 6.
We're here with the premier of Vlastovia at this typical American farm where he's taking a tour today, and he's asking about the farmer's pickup. The interpreter tells him that it's an 81 Ford. The premier wants to drive the Ford.
Yes, how good as gas, Smiley.
Well, this year, Ford has the best estimated MPG ever achieved by a 6-cylinder pickup. What?
Says your American roads are rough.
Well, Fords are built tough. How do you like the Ford, Mr. Premier?
It's like my wife. Tough, but very good looking.
We want to make you smile.
I'd play to his backhand.
We're gonna make you smile.
Holiday Inn offers you the widest choice of the most popular resort locations.
I saw that.
Come to Holiday Inn where your smile says we're #1 in people pleasing.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Tide's just right. That'll be a full moon. Hardly any wind. And the Lowenbrau's cold. Sure beats the office.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrau.
Sure hope the fish don't bother us.
Sunday, in a special 1-hour season premiere of Archie Bunker's Place, Edith is gone. What is Archie going to do? Then on the season premiere of Alice, Mel hits the jackpot of his life. And it's a mad marathon on the season premiere of The Jeffersons, when Tom and George get set to race.
Chicken legs.
Hippo hip. Then an all-new show from the award-winning Body Human series, The Sexes Part 2. Exciting and all-new shows Sunday night.
This is a CBS News special report. Reporting from New York, here is Walter Cronkite.
Good afternoon. The Iranian parliament has set conditions for release of the 52 American hostages, and the White House is considering them. The parliament's vote came early today. Its demands non-interference in Iran's domestic affairs, return of the late Shah's wealth, the lifting of the freeze on Iranian assets in this country, and the withdrawal of private lawsuits by American companies against those assets. According to experts, the financial conditions may be difficult to meet immediately. President Carter broke off his political campaign in Chicago when the word came, flew back to Washington, and he's been meeting with his advisors almost uninterruptedly since then. Tehran Radio said the hostages could be released either in one group or in 4 groups, one group as each condition is met. And there were hints in the Parliament's action that it might only be necessary for the United States to pledge to meet the conditions in order to begin the hostage release. In Tehran, the former Foreign Minister Sadek Ghotbzadeh told CBS News by phone that conceivably the first hostages could be freed in a few days.
I believe as soon as the United States government has announced and made the first condition met, immediately by the plane which apparently has been prepared by the government or some intermediary, the first parts of them will be released either on Wednesday or Thursday.
Secretary of State Muskie said the United States is sticking by its policy that a phased hostage release is not acceptable. They should come out together, he said. Muskie said President Carter would make no decision until he sees a complete and official translation of today's actions in the Iranian parliament. This is Walter Cronkite in New York.
This has been a CBS News special report. CBS News is standing by to bring you further developments as they occur.
Back live in New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. 53 seconds to go in St. Louis. The Dallas Cowboys trailed the Cardinals by 4 points. Danny White had the Cowboys at the line of scrimmage in the shotgun. Tony Hill went deep. Remember what happened against the Eagles? He couldn't hold on to the ball, but this time he does. And the Dallas Cowboys pull one out against the St. Louis Cardinals, 27-24. Elsewhere, in progress, the Los Angeles Rams routing New Orleans. 4 touchdown passes for Vince Ferragamo. He has all kinds of luck after being interviewed by Phyllis. 18 touchdown passes on the season. Philadelphia now has scored in the game you're enjoying. Billy Campfield, of course, and Franklin's extra point. 7-6 there. Oakland leading Miami 16-3 at the half. Jim Plunkett, 2 more touchdown passes, 13 yards to Chester, 17 yards to Chandler. And Steinfort has kicked 3 field goals for Denver, 45, 20, and 28 yards. Earl Campbell storms in from a yard out. Tough defensive game. Minnesota 23, Washington just scored. Time is running out of the first half in that game. The story there is that Dills has replaced Kramer as the Viking quarterback, and Dills has 2 touchdown passes, and now they are at the half. Still in progress, New England 24, but the Jets have come back on 2 touchdown passes by Todd. 26 yards to Barkham, 17 yards to Harper. Yes, Stanley Morgan scored 9 yards from Grogan. Grogan also hit Francis with a 33-yarder. There's the final. Cowboys keep the heat on the Eagles with that come-from-behind win in the last minute. Detroit turns the ball over after dominating San Francisco. 17-13 is the final in that game. Danielson, 23 of 32 for 262 yards. San Diego has an easy time of it. Frustrated last Sunday night by the Cowboys, they win easy. Fouts goes 22 of 41 for 267. Tight end Kellen Winslow, 9 catches, 152 yards, and a touchdown. Giants did it again. Lost 8 straight now for the Merrowmen. 30-13 Buccaneers. Bell's biggest day of the year. 26 for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Baltimore over Kansas City. Some have been touting the Chiefs today, but the Colts win at 31-24. And Jones is 18 of 28 for 206 and 2 touchdowns. The Packers, for 5 straight weeks, have been better than the handicappers thought. They gave Pittsburgh all they wanted. 22-20 the final, the Steelers. And the Atlanta Falcons come from behind to beat the Buffalo Bills with a great performance in the second half. 30-14, Bartkowski 13 of 24 for 193 yards and 1 touchdown. All right, let's show you the best play. As a matter of fact, let's show you Monday night highlights on Sunday afternoon, all right? Let's take a look at what went on around the National Football League. What's this, Dickie? Going over here to Gary Ellis, Irv.
Gary Ellis had a big day for the Packers. You see, you have to ask yourself, what's wrong with the Steeler defense? Here, picking the ball up in the soft spot of the zone, outsprints the secondary.
Nothing wrong with the offense. Bradshaw's back at quarterback today after missing last week. Scramble, find the old man, Rocky Blyer. And then with time running out, I'll show you how gutty these Packers are. They couldn't win the game, but watch the catch by Thompson. Is that a beautiful play? All right, Joe Cribbs, is he the Rookie of the Year in the AFC? Or?
In my opinion, yes. But I guess everybody believes that right now. The guy's had a phenomenal year.
Now watch Bartkowski go to Junior Miller. Here's a guy that you tabbed early in the NFC.
Big rookie out of Nebraska, has all the tools to be an all-pro type player.
Now we watch Ricky Bell against the Giants. What's been wrong with Ricky this year?
Well, he's had some nagging injuries, but he's recovering here now. You know, a great defense has to contain plays like that. The Giants, of course, are in trouble.
The Bucks pick up Mike Schumann, and he gets a touchdown pass from Doug Williams today, so he pays off. Hey, watch this play. Danielson to Billy Sims. Who's supposed to pick up Sims here?
Who knows, but I'll tell you, the defensive backs will be in the film sessions tomorrow to try to find the answer to that one.
All right, here comes James Owens, formerly of UCLA, bringing back the kickoff, and he goes all the way.
Boy, he gets the ball 1 yard in the end zone. You see, when he gets around midfield, Brent, he starts to sprint here, and oops, pulls a hamstring muscle. Lopes into the end zone, but it's a 101-yarder, the longest kickoff return of the year.
Unfortunately, did not play for the rest of the game. Big play right here. Here comes the reverse. Going to wind up with Leonard Thompson, who gets it down to the 5-yard line. And from there across, Danielson went to the bootleg. Do you think the rest of the team knew what was coming?
I don't think so. He'll oftentimes do this. He's the only one.
Now coming up, watch the Cowboys. Here's Irv's favorite move of the day by Tony Dorsett.
Boy, I love this. Changes direction, reverses himself, and accelerates. Gets outside for the score.
Unheralded receiver in St. Louis, folks. His name is Pat Tilley, number 83. Watch this.
You know, he's only about 5'10", but he outjumps the secondary. Great catch.
Now Dennis Thurman, played in Canada, came out of USC. He's going to intercept and get it all the way back for the Cowboys.
You're talking about being in the right spot at the right time. I guess Philadelphia fans are probably grimace when they see this, but Mr. Thurman goes coast to coast. Look at Jay Sally on the sideline with a headband. That's an illegal move, folks. He has to be within the restraining line on the 30-yard line.
Write it down. When the Cardinals play the Cowboys, they're tough. Here comes Mel Gray, 36 yards and a score. Then it was Danny Fouts. The Cowboys frustrated the Chargers, and so Fouts, what a catch by J.J. John Jefferson, and they aren't finished, Irv.
You love this guy. John Jefferson, number 83.
All he does is score touchdowns. The NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Few would argue that getting the mentally retarded out of institutions is a humane thing to do, but suppose they moved in next door to you. Watch 60 Minutes tonight on CBS.
(7-6) our halftime score here in the King Dome in Seattle. The Philadelphia Eagles with that 1-point advantage. Gary Bender along with John Madden. And John, I kind of got the feeling, and you did too, you brought this up, that all of that offense that Seattle had, they only got 2 field goals out of it.
That was the big thing. Ultimately and eventually it's how many points you put up on that scoreboard. And I have the feeling at halftime that Seattle had this game plan that they were going to do. They were very successful. They had the Eagles off balance, but they came up short in the scoring department with only six points. And I think that missed field goal by Herrera could be a big 3 points.
In this first half, Philadelphia had only 13 yards rushing, which is obviously well below what they're used to getting. On the other hand, Seattle had 80. But as far as the total yardage is concerned, it started to even up a little bit after Seattle just really had the entire first quarter to their liking.
Well, the Eagle offense finally got out of their own territory. They got some working room and put some things together, which I think we'll see a continuation of this second half. But again, that big thing is the 13 yards rushing. They wanted to do more than that. They wanted to establish the run and in the trenches. They haven't done that yet. It'll be interesting to see the second half if they do.
Come, drive in the 4th dimension. Experience the 4-wheel drive edge of the American Eagle. Feel all 4 wheels bite into bone-dry pavement, slice through rain, eat up snow. The American Eagle takes your family with confidence where it's never been before. And introducing an all-new high gas mileage Eagle with a list price of only $59.95. Experience driving in the 4th dimension with the American Eagles from American Motors.
If the price of boots has kept you out of them, have I got news for you. Sears has genuine leather insulated boots and split suede hiking boots for just $19.99 a pair.
With lug soles, Goodyear welt construction, glove leather, or split suede leather uppers and padded collar. Special purchase, quantities limited.
At $19.99, it's tough choosing between them. But at $19.99, you really don't have to.
At Sears, where America shops for value.
What an experience for a little child, any child. But for these special kids, it's a very special day. Hi, I'm Keith Krefley of the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is my wife, Sandy. We're visiting a unique class for children from the United Cerebral Palsy Agency.
It's just one of 250 agencies and services here in southeastern Pennsylvania that's supported by United Way.
United Way support helps 34,000 agencies across the nation, and they're all important to someone. Come on, we'll show you. These kids are experiencing more than the thrill of learning. This is a weekly program that stretches their minds and muscles, helps them develop their balance and self-confidence. I know what it takes, a lot of courage and a lot of love. Most of us get embarrassed at a show of love.
But not these kids or the United Way volunteers that make the programs possible.
The United Way works here. Thanks to you, it works for all of us. The United Way.
The preceding message was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way. Alcoa, producer of energy-saving aluminum. and by the new Norelco Rotatract Razor.
Ready to go now. Second half of play. Efren Herrera will kick off. Oh, I'm on camera. Look at that.
There's a redhead. There aren't too many of us around. We have to stick together. We're all number one. All we redheads.
From the 35, Herrera, who was 2 for 3 in the field goal department. As you look at Billy Campfield, he is the man along with Perry Harrington. Is Harrington back there again? He was shaken up in that first half of play. Herrera ready. 7-6. Philadelphia with the lead. Herrera with that missed field goal that could come back and haunt this Seattle team yet. It is Harrington back there along with Campfield, but Campfield will bring it out. He's out to the 15, to the 20, and that's it. Again, very good coverage that time by Seattle. Seattle's really done a good job on the kickoff coverage. Michael Jackson and Don Dufek over there to make the stop. In fact, Seattle this year has done a very good job all year long as far as covering.
One of the reasons is the return team is always thinking of the possibility of an onside kick. The normal alignment on a kickoff return is a 5-man front, a 4-man wedge, and 2 deep. To prevent the onside kick, Philadelphia was in a 6-3-2, which is good for an onside kick, but it's not the best return formation to be in.
Really changes it a little bit, doesn't it? That's a good point. From the 19-yard line, they just haven't had anything going on those kickoffs. This is Carmichael, and now he continues his string, but he's going to lose yardage on that play. Dave Brown was there almost as quickly as a football. So Carmichael, with that catch, now has extended his string to 121 games with at least 1 catch. I don't know how they'll ever stop him. I don't think you can keep this guy from catching a pass.
Especially when he's losing 3 yards on the pass. I wondered if someone maybe didn't mention to Jaworski, hey, Harold hasn't caught a pass yet. He said, well, I'll get that over with right away, and throws him a pass for a 4-yard loss.
I think an interesting point there is there's as much pressure on Jaworski to keep that string going as there is on Carmichael. Second down, 15. Joe Norman has come in at linebacker, and Billy Campfield gets back to about the original line of scrimmage. Robert Hardy made the stop. They call him Heartburn Hardy. 10th round draft pick a year ago from Jackson State. Now, Hardy is one of those guys, John Madden, you wouldn't draft because the computer wouldn't agree with what a prospect he would be.
That's right, and there's a number of those types besides Hardy. The same thing was true of Charlie Johnson. The same thing was true of Carl Hairston. We always had the belief that the defensive linemen had to be 6'4", 6'5". Some of these people are 6'1" and 6'2", play as well as the big guys.
5 defensive backs for Seattle on a 3rd down and 9. Jaworski would like to get this initial series in the second half going. He's hit by Drew Asosoko, but gets rid of it somehow to Giamona.
It won't
count. Wait a minute. They say he was in the grasp and control of Drew Asosoko, and so that would be the first sack of this football game.
And that's the tough one. They have that new rule that you can't hit the quarterback after the whistle blows, so what they're trying to do is give him a good whistle. See, he said that he was in the grasp there. The referee was right there, blew the whistle. Now anything that happens after that really doesn't count.
So the first down catch does not count. There is Dewey Asasopo. How do you spell that guy's name?
Number 74 in your program. In your heart.
There's Runniger back. He had 1 block, of course, in that first half. There is Will Lewis, 41, standing at the 50-yard line. Philadelphia getting themselves deployed. 9 seconds on the clock. They're taking all their time. Here's Runniger. Rush put on, and Runniger has it out to the 47. Lewis gets away from the initial man. He's to the 40, and he is dropped at the 38-yard line. Zach Henderson, who hit him further up the field, then came back to make the tackle on that play. A 37-yard kick by Runniger, a 10-yard return by Will Lewis.
Looks like a whirling dervish right there. He had 2 tacklers there ready to make the tackle. He gave the spin, the whirl, and picked up 4 or 5 more yards.
Every year, millions of drivers suffer the agony of hillophobia. The fear of stopping on hills with a stick shift, with cars behind you, very close behind you. The only known cure, the ingenious hill holder clutch from Subaru. Now you don't have to go downhill until you want to. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
Alcoa can't wait.
If you've ever wondered how something so big got off the ground, part of the answer is light, strong aluminum. Aluminum's high strength and light weight made modern aviation possible. Aluminum is important to most forms of transportation because taking the weight off planes and trucks, and now cars, saves fuel. Aluminum in transportation can be an energy saver today.
We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
Monday on Flo, Crooked Farley's running for office, and Flo's about to run him out of the Yellow Rose.
Farley's never met a man whose money he didn't like.
Monday on the new season of Flo.
Well, John, now you are not real sure how to spell this guy's name, Tuiasosopo, number 74, and here it is. As a coach, you didn't have to spell a lot, did you?
No. We just say Sasapasopo, number 74. Now we have to get Sasapasopo blocked. And then, because when you're the head coach, anything you say is what the guy's name is.
From the 38-yard line on first down, Zorn to throw. Sawyer, the tight end. Sawyer to the 30, and he has a first down. Jerry Robinson really paid for that tackle as Sawyer lowered his head. And a first down for Seattle.
And Seattle's still having the same type of mixture here. Everything starts with a running play in this offense, and they either hand it off or they fake it. That time, it was a fake running play and a short pass to the tight end.
Robinson got a ride that time from number 81, Sawyer. Sawyer is a former player for the Houston Oilers, drafted in the 11th round in 1975. First down at the 27. Zorn with protection, and Zorn hits his man and taking it in for the touchdown. Cornell Young trying to cover on Largent, and Steve Largent has the touchdown catch, and did Zorn throw this one 27 yards.
And we'll watch Largent here again, but what work, what timing between Steve Largent and Jim Zorn. They just know where each other are going to be. Watch this, it's a short post. He makes a nice move there, Cornell Young, and the ball is right there on his second step. There was really not much that Young could do about it.
Largent now with 4 touchdown catches this year. Boy, that was a thing of beauty. Efren Herrera now trying to get the shoe on. What's happening here?
Well, he has to get that thing tied up before he can kick it, but that was a great shot by the cameraman down there, having that isolate there all the way on Largent. He knew who he was going to throw to.
Here's a kick by Efren Herrera. There's a flag. There's a couple of flags down. Let's look again at it.
We'll see it again. Now, watch the timing here. Largent is just breaking when that ball is thrown. He gets it on the third step. Cornell Young, there's nothing he can do.
That was an offside against Philadelphia. The point, of course, will count. And the Seattle Seahawks now with a 13-7 lead after that 27-yard touchdown strike. As Jim Zorn, now for this year, has thrown 11 touchdowns. The Eagles have a fight on their hands.
This is what the experts said about Subaru front-wheel drive cars in 1980. A structural package bristling with near Mercedes solidity, car and driver. Many similarities to BMW, both inside and out, popular science. Reliable, inexpensive to maintain, road and track. And in our opinion, Subaru for 81 is even better. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
Introducing the revolutionary twin action shaving system engineered to outperform twin blades. The new Norelco Rotatract Razor. Inside 3 floating heads, Rotatract works like twin blades to grip hair. Raise it up, then razor it off, hundreds of times a second, for a shave that's twin blade close without a nick or cut. The new twin action Norelco Rotatract Razor. Cord and rechargeable. Twin blade closeness, but no gotcha.
A while ago, John Madden, you were making a point about how they're having to deploy themselves for the kickoff.
Right, and we see how spread out they are. They have the 3 men spread out instead of the 4-man wedge. We look at the front line here. They have 6 men instead of 5. They're in good position for an onside kick attempt, but they're not really in good position for a return.
That's a heck of a thing. When the other team's leading, you're still concerned about an onside kick, huh? Herrera kicking off. He hits this one very well. Billy Camfield. Camfield out to the 15, to the 17, and that's all. Steve Largent in this game has 4 catches for 73 yards. Of course, that 27-yard touchdown strike. As you look at the time elapsed, didn't take very long, did it?
No, and only 2 plays. When they get ready to strike, they can strike right now.
Soren is 12 for 20, 166 yards and a touchdown. And so, again, Philadelphia will have to play some catch-up football. They trailed 6-0, then at halftime led 7-6, and now down 13-7. Boy, when you're on top, you're 7-1 with the best record in the NFL, people come clawing and kicking and scratching to get back in. That much tougher to win. Jaworski giving up. Very little running room on that play. Robert Hardy leading the charge defensively. As again, Seattle clamping it up pretty good in the middle as Leroy Harris just didn't have much running room.
And that makes Ron Jaworski's job all the tougher, because as we were talking to him earlier before the game, he thought that they could run, that they could establish the run. And I would say that they don't even have 20 yards rushing yet in this game. And now that puts all the pressure on him, because now he's ending up with these 2nd and long and 3rd and long situations.
They had 13 yards rushing in that first half. 2nd down, 7. Jaworski. Carmichael. And Carmichael has it broken away. Kerry Justin knocked it away. Seattle has it. Seattle has the football at the 47. Michael Jackson comes up with it, but it was Kerry Justin who reached in on Carmichael and batted the ball away from him.
Harold Carmichael didn't see that coming. He caught the ball. It was a double zone. See, a short and deep. He caught it between the 2. He just starts to run to put the ball away, gets hit from behind on the shoulder, and it bounces out.
And the turnover gives Seattle excellent field position.